Mr. Ron Diano, a West End boy. Yeah, let's applaud him. A West End boy, Ron quickly enlisted in the Royal Canadian Air Force soon after graduation. 3 of his years were spent serving in France and Germany with NATO. Husband of 2011 inductee Mary Maloney, Ron has spent many years giving his time to those who need it. He helped at Crosswoods Halfway House and has received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Royal Canadian Legion. Continuing to serve his community, Ron is an extremely active member of St. Gabriel's Parish and last year assumed the chairmanship of the St. Anne's Veterans Hospital New Year's Eve show. I'd like to introduce Michelle Diano to come say a few words about her dad.
As children, even as adult children, it can be difficult to really know our parents. If you think about it, they lived at least 2 decades, maybe more, before we were born. They made friends, held jobs, earned degrees, and so on. These aren't things we normally think about. Personally, I never really thought about my dad's life before I entered it. I knew he was a good guy. He was always there for us. He spent quality time with us, and he was well-liked within our community. But there was an entire volume of his life that I knew nothing about. And it's a volume that showed me how special Ron Diano is. All it took for me to really see my dad was a chance encounter with an old acquaintance from the Point St. Charles Boys and Girls Club. Sitting at the pub with my parents one Friday evening about 10 years ago, a man came up to us with a huge smile on his face, and he embraced my dad in the biggest bear hug I had ever seen. As they greeted each other, I thought, oh, another drinking buddy. My dad has more than a few of these. But it turned out that this was someone else. This man, I learned, had known my dad when he was just a teenager, and my dad was just a young adult here at the club. He had been his counselor. My dad had run sports programs, he had worked at the summer camp, and he eventually became director of the club. The man and my dad spoke for a few minutes, catching up, and then he turned to me and he said, he wanted me to know just how amazing my dad is. He told me that my dad had had a huge influence on his life, so big in fact that he said he owed a lot of his success to my dad. It was in that moment that I truly understood that my dad was more than my dad. This encounter in and of itself is pretty amazing testament to Ron Diano's character. But the thing is, this is not the only time that this type of thing has happened. It happens on a regular basis. And it happens in a lot of different places, with a lot of different people. Whether it be former Army buddies, my dad served for 7 years in the Air Force, former classmates, he earned a bachelor's and a master's degree of science, Dorval old-timers, hockey teammates, he volunteered and played there for many, many years. Royal Canadian Legion members, he continues to volunteer much of his time there. Erin Club members, or even St. Gabriel's parishioners. People from all of these groups greet my dad with warmth and speak highly of him on a regular basis. This, to me, illustrates just how giving and community-oriented Ron Diano really is, and I think it goes to show just how deserving he is of today's induction into the Hall of Recognition. I am honored to present Ron Diano.